Welcome back! In this video, we show you how to collect data for Scope 3 emissions. This phase can be time-consuming, and we advise you to plan enough time for this. To make it a bit more straightforward, let's narrow it down into 4 simple steps. Let's start with step 1, prioritizing your data. We advise you to prioritize data collection and focus on the most relevant Scope 3 categories. Try to make use of a spend analysis to screen and quantify Scope 3 categories. As mentioned in the first video, it may be no surprise that purchased goods and services will likely have by far the highest priority. Other relevant categories are up and downstream transportation and waste generation. We distinguish between primary and secondary data. Primary data comes directly from your suppliers and relates to specific activities in your supply chain, while secondary data is average data retrieved from public sources and databases. For high priority Scope 3 categories, you should strive for high quality primary data. The problem, however, with secondary data is that it doesn't paint a real picture of your specific supply chain, and is also not responsive to any improvements you might be making, like measures to reduce emissions. That's why primary data collection is so essential. If it's your first organizational carbon footprint, we advise you to calculate the footprint with secondary data. In many cases, your suppliers may not be able to provide good primary data just yet. So let's look at step 2, collecting secondary data. As you may remember, carbon calculations are based on activity data and emission factors. Secondary data of emission factors can be found using credible public datasets. Please check the links below for climate data of foods. For non-food materials, please rely on other sources like EcoInvent. So let's zoom in on collecting primary data. Primary data can only be requested in dialogue with your suppliers, and this takes time. Use a spend analysis to identify the high priority suppliers that you want to engage. We advise to select suppliers that jointly represent at least 2/3 of your purchasing volume. And in the following video, we will provide extra guidance on supplier engagement. Step 4, improve data quality. In your first year, the footprint can be based on averages and estimations. That's okay, and you're not alone in this. But together, we should strive for continuous improvement of data quality. And remember, primary data is needed to claim emission reductions, so continuous supplier engagement is key. Please do check our recommended actions and tips listed below. Good luck!